My wife and I, we grew up poor around drugs and alcohol. We have family members who grew up in the same environment and they went the other way. They're addicts today, and it's sad to see. At the end of the day, Andy, there's no excuses. If you want something out of life, you can go get it.
How would you like to own your home outright? What would it feel like to never make a mortgage payment ever again? On our mortgage-free segment today, we're going to interview Kevin Arnett from Indiana. Recently, Kevin and his wife, Alyssa, became mortgage-free in just over 2 years. Today, we're going to learn how they accomplished this family financial goal so quickly and what they're doing with their money now. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hey, Andy. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. Let's start off the show with the mortgage-free 3. These are quick, short answers so everybody understands what you've done with this mortgage payoff process. So the first question is, what was your starting mortgage principal balance?
Our starting balance was $72,000.
$72,000. Okay, great. And then how long did it take you to pay off that $72,000?
26 months, Andy. 26 months.
26 months. Yeah, I alluded to the intro, just a little over 2 years. So 26 months. That is very, very fast. So what is your home value today? Our third and final question here.
Yeah, to be conservative, I'm going to say about $180,000.
That is awesome. $180,000. So you own a nearly $200,000 home outright now.
Feels good to hear you say that, Andy.
Well, I want to remind you of the great thing you've done here, Kevin. That is awesome news. So let's talk about why you wanted to do this. Why did you want to pay off your mortgage? And what was, I guess, what motivated you to do it? And what was your reason?
Yeah, so our reason was to change our family tree. My wife and I both grew up around drugs and alcohol. Our parents are always fighting. We were both very poor. We were on free and reduced lunch growing up through school. And we just wanted to not just change our family tree. We wanted to burn down the old tree and then replant a new tree.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you know, I hear that conversation about changing the tree, strengthening the tree. I use strength in our conversation because I'm very, thankful of some of the things that I had during my childhood. Some folks, like you're saying, as you're describing your situation, you didn't want to bring some of the things that happened during your childhood. You wanted to create a brand new situation for you and your family. Is that right?
Absolutely. We wanted to, my wife and I, we just wanted to start over and start fresh. And our family's past is behind us and we're starting new.
That's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. Let's talk about the loan situation. What type of loan did you get when you got the home?
Yeah, we got a VA loan, and so it doesn't require any money down. We got that back in 2011, and kind of piggyback on the last question. So from 2011 to 2019, we realized that we only paid $14,000 towards the mortgage, and we were very upset about it. And so that's what we made a goal in January 2020. We made a goal that says, hey, we're going to pay this off in 4 years. And we didn't, mathematically speaking, we didn't know how we were going to do it. But we had faith that we could do it. And sure enough, we actually did it in almost half the time.
That is incredible. Yeah, talk about intentionality. So let's talk about those steps. You said 8 years, the interest or the principal only went down by $14,000. So that frustrated you, and you said 2020 came along, and you said, "Hey, we're going to pay this thing off real fast, 4 years." So talk about the steps that you took. What did you do? Did you increase your income? Did you decrease your expenses? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we have 6 streams of income. And that's kind of the catalyst that helped push us over the edge. I mean, just as far as I'm on my local school board, right? So it's not a lot, but it's $2,000 a year. And so I ran for office. I didn't spend any money campaigning, and I somehow won the election. So that's a little bit of income. I work full time as a government employee. My wife's a school teacher. She's also in the military. She's in the Air National Guard. And we also have a small-time financial coaching business that we coach prisoners in. We go into a prison and we teach about money. So those 6 streams of income, we kind of just used those, kept on building those up. At the same time, our expenses didn't decrease, but they stayed the same. We didn't take on any new debt or any new bills. So they stayed the same. So that surplus in between was we call magic money. We just threw that at the mortgage. Actually, I posted, to bring this up, I posted in your Facebook group and a question because during this time, we got burnt out on paying off the mortgage. I posted in your group that, we're paying $2,700 a month towards a mortgage. We owe $30,000 left. Like I need some motivation because I'm listening to too many podcasts. that people are against paying off the mortgage. And episode 298 of yours is where you answer my question. You really helped me focus, and once you set a goal and you're motivated and you're intentional, nothing's going to stop you.
I love that. I remember that question. I think we answered it with Brennan Schlagbaum from Budget Dog, I believe, to keep that motivation going because he paid off his mortgage as well. I think this community of people who want to keep moving towards their goals, I think it's incumbent on us to be there for each other and say, hey, keep going. You set this goal for a reason. And you'll get that freedom. So, Kevin, thank you for sharing your story today because I think you're going to motivate others who are on their path. Talk to us about, you said you didn't really decrease your expenses very much, but you obviously you had a plan. So did you and your wife work on a budget or something like that? How did that all work?
Yeah, so we're traditional Dave Ramsey followers. We love the baby steps and loose follower. But yeah, we just got on the same page. Once my wife and I got on the same page, and not only that, we have 4 kids, so they got on the same page too. We were just an unstoppable force because we made it an exciting time for us, and we always talked about what it would be like when we do pay off the house. And all of our girls went with us to the bank, pay off the mortgage. So we made it a family affair. We made it fun and exciting. So that's kind of what the plan was, big picture wise.
I love it. Tell me more about that day when you went to the bank with your family and then when you guys paid it off. What was that day like? How did you guys celebrate?
It was a day that we looked forward to for a long time. And, the biggest thing that we called the bank ahead of time to make sure we knew what we were supposed to do. So we had to get that payoff amount, and took about 30 minutes being in the bank. It was just kind of surreal for us, to pay it off. And we went out to lunch afterwards at our favorite place here in town. And we haven't celebrated too much yet because we actually will be in Nashville for our debt-free Scream in May. So that's kind of what we're going to do, a mini vacation in Nashville coming up.
That is great. Yeah, that is a great place to do it. That's a great way to celebrate. He's got an awesome studio there. You can scream it from the top of your lungs and have a great time doing that. That is very cool. Kevin, talk to me about now with this mortgage paid off. You alluded to maybe even, $2,000 extra per month or $2,700. You had the mortgage principal gone, the mortgage interest gone, and you also have these extra payments gone that you're making towards the mortgage. What are you doing now with that extra money to continue to change your family tree like you talked about?
Yeah, so this is another moment we've been waiting for to see. So it ended up being about $3,100 that we have extra a month. First off, we're saving for a vacation to go to Nashville, and then I have a mother-in-law suite here on the property, one of my barns, and we're getting a new roof for her, for my mother-in-law. And the great thing about it, Andy, is we can do whatever we want with that money. We've already increased our grocery fund because groceries are more expensive, but we're kind of just setting goals still. And then we're just checking stuff off the list.
Yeah, I love that. I think if people listening right now can just imagine an extra $3,000 in your budget each month to do what you please with, whether that is, updating your home, going on vacations, investing more, having more fun, whatever you decide that is. I love that, Kevin. And thank you for just expanding people's minds with this idea of what you're supposed to be able to, or what you can do when you've got that much more money coming into your life. There's folks listening that are thinking, the stock market is a really good place to put your money. Paying off a low interest mortgage, that doesn't seem like that good of an investment. What would you say to that person who's listening right now?
Yeah, it's kind of what the Budget Dog said on episode 298. Personal finance it's personal in a way, right? So I know that I have friends who have, $300,000 or $400,000 in debt and four or five different houses, and they sleep good at night, and they have some income, but they have a lot of expenses too. You have to do what you feel comfortable with. And my wife and I, it's the why behind it for us. We didn't want any liabilities out there. We didn't want to owe anyone anything. We wanted to be just free. And we sleep very well at night being debt free. But there are people that don't want to pay off their mortgage, and that's okay with them. Talking about investing, I put 22% towards my retirement, my 401k. So, why can't you do both? Why can't you invest and pay off debt? I'm a big believer in whatever you want to do, pay off the house or not pay it off. It has to align with your future goals. And our future goals is to retire in our 50s. And the best way to do that is have as little expenses as we can each month.
Absolutely. Kevin, I love this advice. Yeah, I'm all about doing both if you can, make that happen. And yes, this is a personal decision. Do what's right for you. If this sounds insane, what we're describing here, what I've done and what Kevin's done and what Brennan did in his life, if that doesn't sound like something that's good for you, then don't do it. Do something else. Do something else with your money and make those decisions. So, Kevin, somebody's listening right now and they are inspired to pay off their mortgage like you did in a quick fashion or however they're able to do it. What's one piece of advice you could leave with them following this interview to get started today?
Yeah, Andy, great question. I think the first thing you have to do is set goals in life, and then you have to work to achieve your goals. And you're not always going to have a clear path to your goals. You're going to be diverted a little bit. You're going to have a course correction. You just have to roll with it. You have to stay intentional with whatever goal you set. I like to say you have to burn your boat. And so when you're going after that goal, it's you immerse yourself in that goal. You're intentional on a daily basis. You're committed to the goal. That's the big picture for us. Doesn't matter what you're doing in life, whether it's finances or relationships or career. If you're committed and you're intentional, you're ethical and honest, you're doing the right thing, you're going to have success in it. No excuses as well, right? My wife and I, we grew up poor around drugs and alcohol. We have family members who grew up in the same environment and they went the other way. They're addicts today, and it's sad to see. But at the end of the day, Andy, man, there's no excuses. If you want something out of life, you can go get it. Just like you, Andy, how you went to full-time entrepreneur, right? No one handed that to you. You have worked your butt off to get it. It's just like my wife and I. We have hustled and grinded, and we have monthly budget meetings, and we get our kids involved, and we teach them about finances right now. And because it's our goal in life to be financially free and to teach our kids, because it's so important for us. Bad things, Murphy comes around. Bad things are going to happen, and you got to roll with it. And it's so much easier to fight Murphy when you are debt free with an emergency fund.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yes, set those goals, go for them with full vigor and just get it done. Absolutely. Kevin, you mentioned you have a financial coaching practice. You're helping people in prisons right now to have that extra energy and extra knowledge to take their lives in a new direction, to change their situation, change their family tree. If people wanted to learn more about that or learn more about you, is there a way that they could get a hold of you?
Yeah, typically I'm just on Facebook, Kevin Arnett on Facebook. You can find me in your Facebook group. Our business is called Pink Line Financial. We don't promote it at all just because we don't need to. Yeah, on Facebook, that's the best place to find me.
Excellent. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we just tell people to join our Thriving Families Facebook community? You can do that at marriagekidsandmoney.com/community. And Kevin is an active member in there, and he's helping motivate people like he has today. So everybody check out that community, marriagekidsandmoney.com/community, and you can ping Kevin in there and thank him for his transparency, honesty, and inspiring story. That would mean a lot to me. Kevin, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, Andy.